Hiring virtual assistants, VAs, or new team members is probably one of the most critical things you can do in your business to scale. Now, there are a couple different ways you can hire people, whether you want contractors, you want full-time W-2, or you want project-based individuals. And to do this, I typically use 3 to 4 softwares depending on what I'm looking for, whether it's a short-term arrangement where it's a very specific project, or if I'm looking to bring in a new employee that's a full-time job. So I want to start off with the tools that I use, and it's Fiverr, Upwork, Breezy HR, and Indeed is kind of your bonus for where we get most of our leads from. So now Fiverr, what it's best for is finding people who have very specific skills or unique projects. So things like building a website, building a landing page, using a very specific thing in Go High Level, or editing a video. The reason why I like it for this is because you can find people who have done it, who have a lot of reviews, and they just specialize in one thing. So I'll pull up Fiverr right here, and basically if you look at maybe 3D animation, or let's do modeling. I've used that before and I've had a lot of success for I have a supplement brand. So you find people that are well rated. So you can see that this person's done over 700 gigs. They have a 4.9, top rated, and fairly affordable. So it's really easy to find people that specialize, and then you can see their projects. So this person has a 5, a little bit less projects, Fiverr's choice. So maybe we come in here, and then all you need to do is pick maybe 3 or 4 and message them, have a conversation, and then purchase from them. Now, what I like about Fiverr is while it sometimes is a little bit cheaper, the quality is not always the same as, paying top dollar for something, of course, but you can hire 2 or 3 people a lot of times. If your budget's maybe $300, you can hire 3 people for $100 versus 1 for $300, but then you get to see the different designs and you get to pick the one you like best, which a lot of times will get me better results than working with an expert who charges a whole bunch of money. Not always. One of the disadvantages is typically on Fiverr and other platforms, they need a lot more direction. They're less creative and more, we're gonna do this. So with these models, if I was doing like a supplement or something, they need all the rendering, all the details. They need the drawings, they need a whole bunch of stuff to make this come to life. So usually we're providing them logos or label files, all of these things. So this one looks pretty advanced. This is probably more what I'd be used to, and we'd have to provide them the color, the shape, even potentially a bottle already, and then the label as well. So then they're just basically putting it all together, and some are really easy to do. There's kits, some are not. And you'll see like this one doesn't look that great, but some of the other ones, the supplement bottles are pretty standard, and product photos. So that's really where it's more of, I want something very specific. Maybe if it's a data entry or maybe an AI workflow. Potentially, I haven't tried that on Fiverr. Even websites and landing pages, I've had decent success, but even the really well-reviewed people, I still needed a little bit of specialty to go in and edit or modify. So I always make sure that I have full access to source files and things like that, so I can go make some small edits instead of going back and forth 100 times. Now, the next stage in this is using people that are probably a little bit more creative, not always more expensive, but they're not as pigeonholed into a specific project or process where you can bring them on for part-time contractor work for multiple things, maybe even, again, data entry. Instead of buying per list, they can do kind of more of a real product base. And for that, I use Upwork. So Upwork works very similar, but instead of searching for a gig, you're gonna post a job like you were hiring an employee. So in Upwork, you log in, you become a contractor, and basically you're not a contractor, but you become I think there's 2 types. There's a client and a freelancer. So in this one, we're in the client portal, and then we're just gonna post a job. So in here, it'll walk you through how to post that job. You wanna be specific on what you're looking for, what that time frame is. So let's just walk through one really quickly. So let's do a short-term project, and then you can use AI. So I'm looking for WordPress speed optimization. Don't mind my spelling. Hopefully the AI picks it up. So let's just say I want someone to do this specific project, but I wanted them, one of the reasons why I would hire them maybe on Upwork versus Fiverr is I want them to consistently monitor my speed ongoing versus Fiverr where I just want them to one time go in and do that. So in this case, I can pay this person every single month. Maybe it's, $20 a month where they go in and they make sure that everything's working correctly. So that way it's more of that long-term gig. I typically prefer to go by fixed projects, even if that's a price per month that I'm paying. Let's just say it's $100 and then continue. And the AI will actually map out what this job looks like. Of course, it's encouraged that you go and make these changes, but their AI is pretty good. You can do screening questions and you get more advanced in here, and then you just go ahead and finalize that. And so You can pay to post it, or you can post it without paying. Honestly, most of the time you don't need to pay unless you're looking for something super competitive or having trouble finding someone to do the job. Then I'll show you what it looks like on my end. So I have some older jobs that have already been posted. So that's now a draft. Let me go to all contracts. In here, I don't have anything active, but I can show you what it actually looks like on the back end, so how you can help make that decision on who you're hiring. So I posted a job about AI automations. I was trying to find someone who would be talented so I could have them do a lot of the busy work that I was doing. And it definitely took some time to find someone, and I ended up having to find someone outside of Upwork for this specific one. But this is what it looks like when you post this job. It'll have the information to the job, what the price is, things like that. And then you can invite people to interview. So in here, you'll see kind of their job satisfaction. You can click on here and learn more about them. You can favorite them. You can directly hire. Typically it says invite, but this job's actually closed. And so that's why I'd have to probably repost that. But then people will also apply to that job. So a lot of people automatically apply to jobs. You'll get a whole bunch of applications, which is nice. And then there's different things that you'll want to look for. So mine looks a little different because this is, again, a closed job. So it doesn't have the same screen that you'd have. But one of the things I look for is how much have they earned? Are they actually actively doing things on Upwork, or are they just getting started? So if I want a more experienced person, I would assume they've earned more and have more reviews. So this person has earned 2K and has 6 jobs complete. Here we go. So this person has done 353 jobs, 37 complete, and 100% job satisfaction. So this person probably is more likely to be successful. And then I can jump in here and actually look at their information, their cover letter, and go through it. And then there's reviews and a whole bunch of information. And you can even see what people are paying, which is helpful when you decide how much to pay them. So if you're gonna go low or high, ideally what I like to do is pay a little bit more than they're used to getting on this platform. A lot of times you're getting the work cheaper because they're international. But the reason why I want to pay a little bit more is if they have 5 jobs, you want them to care about your job. And it's that simple. You're paying a little bit extra for that attention. So that becomes really important and really powerful. Then once you like that person, you can basically in here, you have the ability to kind of almost go through an interview. You can thumbs them up, shortlist them, archive them by thumbs down. You can message them. You can go through a whole process of building a relationship with them. You can do an interview. But this ideally makes it easier, especially for those short-term projects or people that are just very experienced and they're kind of churning through this stuff. Now, again, this is the same place where you probably typically don't find world-class people. World-class people typically come from poaching or from prospecting. But the next step in this evolution is more of a full-time contractor, larger projects, or W-2 full-time employees. And for that, we use really 2 tools. So Breezy has a free version if you're posting 1 job. There's some obviously limitations to that. We pay for Breezy. What Breezy is an application tracking software that allows you to post a job to hundreds of sites at one time. And then it works like a CRM in the background so you can move people through an interview process. Now you have to completely customize this on the back end, so it's definitely for someone who is building and scaling a recruiting kind of system, so multiple hires typically. What we do is a lot of times for more competitive jobs, we sponsor them through Indeed. So Indeed.com for us, for our analytics, we usually get the most applications coming in from Indeed, especially sponsored if we really need to get people in. So I'll show you really quickly that they do have that free plan. I believe my company's on the business plan because we're actively recruiting. We do things like assessments, but I just want to quickly show you what this looks like and how customizable you can make it. So one of the advantages is we have multiple jobs open right now. I'll go to one that doesn't have a lot of candidates so we can hopefully gray it out. Let's come in here. So we're hiring a closer, an account executive at Otter. And so you'll see that there is a pipeline in here of people that have applied to this role. And then what we can do is basically they need to do a video assessment. Once they do that video assessment, it automatically moves them over here. If we like their video assessment, we send them a written assessment. Then we'll go over here. Once they complete the written assessment, it automatically moves over to here. And so you can see once they've done that, if we like them, we'll get manually reviewed. Our team will hold it for an interview. And then once we want to interview that person, we move them over and invite them into an interview. Now, if they have a good interview in that process, we then go ahead and move them over to another hold. So that way the next hiring manager can go through and pick their top candidates. So it works really well for more of a scalable system that's focused on finding the best talent. And the cool thing about using application tracking softwares is even if you're recruiting through email marketing or social media, you can drive all those applications in to this location. So I'll do one more example here. And then on advertising, you can advertise to hundreds of job boards. So let me just show you what that looks like here. Advertising. So we pay to run some ads on things like Indeed, but you can do LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and they have literally hundreds of job boards. I actually think they've cut down some of the job boards, but they have premium, remote. So they specialize. Okay, they just changed these. So if you're looking for specialty remote jobs, these might help, and then you can sponsor them on these. But they do also organically get published typically to all of these sites. The last piece of this is, of course, like I said, Indeed. If you're trying to do less scale, then maybe it's just one simple role. Indeed is free, and then you can just post directly to Indeed. That's going to be the easier, but I think that resumes get lost a lot. They have built in kind of their own application tracking software system, so it's not that bad, especially for a free tool. You have to get verified with Indeed. Same thing, even if you're going to advertise with them, you have to get verified. And then you can look at kind of our reports, which I think is very helpful. Obviously, each platform or each job role is going to be different, but the reports on the ATS tell you where your applications are coming from. So in here, you'll see that we actually get a lot from our career portal, LinkedIn right now. So these are views. So we get a lot coming in from our career portal, and then actual applications come in for us right now. We're spending a decent amount on sponsoring a specific job. Then, so paid Indeed, organic Indeed, LinkedIn, which I'm running an ad to right now, our career site, and that's really what that looks like. And then on our website, otterpublicrelations.com, if you go to careers, so we have a careers page that looks like this, and then we can jump in here and see those actual jobs that are posted, and people can apply directly on our website, which is really nice and makes it customizable, and also makes us look like a very legitimate company. It helps build that trust and prestige. If you guys like videos like this or want help scaling your teams, please make sure to subscribe. I also have some freebies down below, including a free feature on USA Wire about your business, your brand, your company, or specifically you. Thank you.